York's #1 for throwbacks.
94.7 The Block.
Welcome to Conversations on the Block. I am your host, Pat Robinson. New York City, I just want to thank you for downloading that Odyssey app and tuning into our station. Did you know that this upcoming 2 weeks, we're going to be celebrating a 1-year anniversary of our station launch? Yes, on October 22nd, the block will be 1 year old. So I want to shout out to all of the talent on air, our DJs, and I want to especially thank you for tuning in to the block. And while I do that, continue to connect into me by emailing me directly at patricia.robinson1@odyssey.com. As we are still in Domestic Violence Awareness Month, which we know is a systematic pattern in which behaviors surface to instill dominance, superiority, and surveillance and stalking in relationships, these things often lead to death, anxiety, depression, self-hate, poor self-esteem, isolation, and a myriad of other negative factors that impacts on people's lives. So today I want to introduce 3 young men who have an important stake in sharing an overall message about love, self-love, and relationships in general in life. True Soul is an R&B recording artist group based in North Jersey. Most recently, they performed on stage with the multi-Grammy award-winning group Boyz II Men during a tour in Atlantic City. They also opened up for many legends in the business, such as Grammy Award-winning and nominated artists Brian McKnight, Keith Sweat, Maya, and Next, and even the legendary Jay Leno. They're currently finishing up their summer/fall R&B live show tour and promoting a new single called A Woman Should Be Loved. And if you stay with us, you will hear that song at the end of this show. So I want to welcome these 3 handsome R&B artists to the show. We have Notes, Vocals, and Teddy B. So thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. So let's talk about this category of music. You know, I'll give you an example. Today I was actually listening to the radio and I heard, and I won't say which station, but it wasn't on our station. I heard a song that had a really catchy beat. And the words, I found myself moving to the beat, and the words were saying, hey, I can cheat on you, but you know what? I still love you. Just because I cheat on you don't mean I don't love you. And I had to pause, and I said,
wow.
Well, what's happening here? And I had to stop myself. Right. So talk to me about the music and finding love. Tell New York City why your music is important.
Notes, you want to take that?
Yeah, this is Notes here. Thank you, Stat, for the question. I'm in a great setup regarding that question. Our music is all about love. That's a big thing that we talk about in our shows and our music. When we interact with people, we talk about love, bringing back the love. You know, it's okay to love for the men and for the women, of course. So, you know, we want to make sure that we want to inject love back into the conversation. To touch on the song that you heard just goes to show you how flip-flop things are and how backwards and out of order and disorganized things are when, you know, you have a song about cheating on someone, and not only is the person justifying it, but conversely, you may have the other person who's being cheated on accepting it as if it's okay for a bunch of different reasons why they may accept it and why that person may, you know, be saying that it's okay to do that. Certainly not how, you know, how things are supposed to be. It's not how, you know, things should be. You know, love is an action word, and it's a lot deeper than just, you know, saying it. You need the actions behind it to show it as well.
Yeah, so let's hear from some of the other members. What are your thoughts about that?
This is Teddy B speaking. I think that the substance from music is fading slowly, and, you know, it's a shame that our kids have to listen, you know, the youth have to listen to this and think that's what it's about, you know, and that's the wrong idea to put out there.
Right. When you do your shows, do you see, like, what is the reception from the audience? Do you feel like there's a craving for the music that you're creating?
It definitely is. It definitely is. Folks, you take it.
Thank you so much for that question, Ms. Pat. Actually, yes, it is. We just had a show recently in Jersey City called All About Downtown. And there's a segment in our show where we pass out roses to the ladies.
Wow.
And Teddy B always would open up with asking a question. When was the last time you've been serenaded? When was the last time a man gave you a rose?
Right.
And practically all the women in the audience raised their hand. It's like it's something that they haven't experienced or may not have experienced in a long time. And so, yes, they are very receptive to the message of our songs. They're very receptive to the message that we bring all together. So, yes, it is very much needed in this day and time.
Yeah. And how do you feel, and anyone can take this question, but like social media is a big influence, right? So there's just so much, like you can get overwhelmed, you can get burnt out, and then it like creates this narrative, and that can be impressionable upon a lot of younger minds. So talk to us about love and just relationships in general and social media, and how should we be taking that information in?
Well, this is Teddy B. I think I can speak on that, being I'm on social media all the time. It's very overwhelming, the amount of stuff packed on that you see constantly coming into your feed and in front of your face. And, it's a different narrative being put out there. Like, as far as the song that you also spoke about, is like it doesn't really seem like anyone's really truly thinking about love, because so much of the negative is being brought forward in your face. You know what I'm saying? That everybody's thinking, okay, this is cool. This is the trend. This is what it is. This is fun. This is funny to laugh at someone else's pain that they're going through or maybe experience at the time. And, sometimes it could take a toll on you, you know what I'm saying, with the whole social media thing and the trends and whatnot. So it can be very overwhelming.
So Notes, let me ask you this. In reference to married life, what do you think, where do you think we are in society? Like, just this week, I saw like a bunch of stories about, some high profile marriages that are falling apart. And it just feels like it's just general conversation. Like, I can find more negative stuff about relationships than I can find good R&B shows or good R&B songs, right? So what do you think about that?
Yeah. So, marriage and, just the media as a whole, it's designed to spew out negativity and, and to things that are, it'll make you think that you can just do whatever you want, act however you want, be however you want, and it's okay. And, it's not right. From a marriage perspective, I did see that recently as well. A lot of high profile marriages are falling apart, coming apart at the seams, not to get biblical, but, as married men and women, the vow say to the death do you part, so even if you have to take a separation for a little bit, you want to try to work on that marriage and get it back on track. And that's how God designed it to be. So, marriage is a serious commitment, a vow to God first and foremost, but to that person, man or woman you say that you love, and that's how God designed it. So it is a shame to see that, and married couples, it's hard work. I know that personally. I've been married for 13 years, so it's hard work and it's constant, learning your partner and being able to, adjust. People grow, you're not the same person you were 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So communication, compromise, all of that stuff is key when you talk about marriage, and the media doesn't do anything to help it at all. At all.
Right. And so I'm glad that you shared that you were married. So being an R&B singer in a group, and you're going out and you're, giving this love to the audience, and people are kind of connecting in their inner mind, and they're finding a space of peace and romanticism in your music. How do your wives deal with that? If I don't know who all is married, I did hear one person. There's a fine balance.
Well, Notes is the only one that's married.
Yeah. Look, New York. He made that clear, New York. He like, Notes is the only one.
So I'll speak on it from a married standpoint, and I'll let the vocals and Teddy speak on it from a single standpoint. But, as R&B artists, obviously you want to connect with your audience. That certainly makes a difference. You always want to connect with your audience, bring them into, your R&B world, so to speak, and let them know that at least for that moment, they're important. One other thing we say at our shows and try to portray in our music is like, look, true soul, we are giving you this love, we're giving you this moment, this special time. It's just for you. And so, we understand that as group members. My wife understands that, as a wife of an aspiring artist, so she's very supportive. Good. And which is a great thing. So it's a blessing that I have that support on my side. But as artists, it's all about connecting with your audience, right? Bringing them in, letting them know that it's these things that we're talking about, the words that we're singing are real, and you can relate to it, whether it's us or in your own personal life, something that you can relate to and sink your teeth into.
I appreciate you sharing that. And from the single perspective,
Listen, I'm single, so listen, I'm all up in your grill. I'm singing in your face, I'm serenading, I'm hugging. I ain't got no pushback, no problems, no worries. So it's all good over here.
I love it. I love it. Okay, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all. So when you talk, just kind of going back to the fact that we're in this Domestic Violence Awareness Month, there are people listening right now who are in bad relationships, may not know how to get out, may not have had an opportunity to experience a good relationship or experience love. Talk to those who may be suffering in silence or looking for some inspirational hope right now. What would you say to someone? And that can be...
I would say that basically, you know, if there's advice that you seek from a friend, a best friend, a family member, I would get that advice, because the first time is always going to be the second time. Mm-hmm. And there's always going to be a third time after. And, you know, it's going to continue on and it'll get worse. It's not healthy. It's definitely not healthy to stay in.
Right. I appreciate
this. This is vocal speaking. I just like to speak on that. Having witnessed domestic violence growing up in my own family, one of the things I know is, before you look for an external source for inspiration or for any kind of help, you have to look for it on the inside first. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I feel like, you know, not to get real biblical and spiritual, like Tone said, but honestly, if you can connect with God and find your self-worth, find that inspiration and knowing that God created you for a purpose and that you are worth loving. You are worth so much more than what you're allowing yourself to go through. Mm-hmm. Right. Then you can find that strength to know that you deserve better, and you can find that strength to walk away. Mm-hmm. I think leaning on other people and asking other people to help, it has its benefit. Yes, if it's a real serious situation you need to get out, yes. Mm-hmm. You might need to reach out to somebody, but I think it all starts on the inside first. You have to find that self-worth on the inside and know that you are nobody's punching bag. You're not built to be anybody's or to take anybody's verbal abuse. Mm-hmm. You're worth so much more, and you can find that identity in God. You can make that connection. God is always available for prayer, always available. His word is always available. So I encourage everybody that's going through any kind of domestic violence situation, connect with God, find your self-worth, and that's where your strength is going to come from to walk away.
Okay. I mean, can we take a second? I think we're gonna pass the tray around and we're gonna do a collection, because I'm not even trying to be funny, but you know, I think I mean, you have hit it right out the park, and you know what's important, and it's important that we're talking about who you guys are in terms of your core values, because we can get music anywhere, right? We can listen to music and beats anywhere. But when you understand the philosophy behind people, then the music makes much more sense, right? It's why people stay with you, because they believe what you're saying. So no, I appreciate that. I was saying that in jest, but I really do appreciate you sharing that, because that is really important, and someone is going to benefit from that. Okay, I'm going to switch gears. What's the wildest thing that has ever happened to you guys while you were on tour?
I don't think you're ready for that answer.
Well, y'all want to go?
Go ahead. I mean, it's up to you, Teddy. If you want to go, I got a story that came to mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, vocals of Teddy B, they can certainly relate and know exactly what I'm talking about. It never fails. Maybe not at all of our shows, but a lot of times, you know, we perform in New Jersey, New York, you know, the kind of the tri-state area, and a little bit down the Eastern Seaboard. For some reason, when we're performing on stage and the crowd is into it, and you know, everybody's having a good time, people will constantly come up to us and try to speak to us either on the side of the stage or on the front of the stage, want to talk to us about some other event they have going on, or want to get our information. And literally in the middle of the show, people trying to have full-blown conversation while we're saying. It never fails. It happens all the time. So we kind of got to keep our cool and just kind of tell them, look, give us a minute. We're literally performing right now while you're trying to have a full-blown conversation. So that's one of the funny things I have.
Okay, see, I was waiting for a different kind of story. I was going to say, okay, how many pairs of panties got thrown up on the stage like something wild?
Oh, wow, I got a story for you. Oh, yeah. Tell it, Vogue. We had a pair of panties thrown on the stage, and I'll just I'll just keep it clean and say it was it wasn't very sanitary. I'll just say
Oh man! Wow story. Yeah.
No, but I appreciate you sharing that. But that is wild to have like promoters coming up and people trying to do business while you're performing. So stop doing that. Okay, next question. What is the difference in between loving someone and being in love with someone?
I believe Notes could take that one.
I mean, you want to take a vote? I go after something.
Okay, I'll go after you.
So like I said before, love. The word love is an action word. Loving somebody, calling them all the time, wanting to be around them. Having love for somebody is one thing. It could be friends who have love for somebody, just want to care for them and really, want the best for them. So there's a love that is like that between friends, platonic, sort of quote unquote type of relationship. But once you talk about being in love with someone, you want to. That's a step further. So it's more about caring for the person, seeing one of the best for them. Being their champion, supporting them, loving them in and out of season, even when they get on your nerves. So you may not like them, but you still love them. You want to see the best. Not like I said before, communication and compromise. So in terms of being in love with somebody, it's certainly a higher level. It's a deeper connection. It's not just something that just can come and go easily and ebbs and flows. You're really in love with somebody. It's hard to even, say goodbye to them or, you want the best for them. They're on your mind constantly versus just having a love for someone, a care for someone that they do well. So for me, that's kind of the difference between those two things.
I appreciate you sharing that. So you guys work together. You're doing great music. You're touring. I know that takes a lot of, practice. It takes a lot of maturity. What makes you feel good about doing this? Because we are in need of, good R&B music, good R&B groups, but ones that are also going to sustain, that can live and last a lifetime. Is that your goal, to continue to create music that can surpass your existence and stay into, generations as they come forward?
Right. I definitely agree with that because, we have a passion and a love for what we do. And, regardless if there's ever money involved. The money is a good part about it, but we started from the street corners singing and getting a lot of love and recognition for what we do. So, no matter where we go or where we're at the time, we always wind up singing somewhere, you know what I'm saying? So
that's all.
I believe it's something that we definitely want to take to full extent and have a longevity in doing it. You know what I'm saying? It's just the love and the passion for what we do. So we love what we do.
Awesome. Awesome.
Just to piggyback off what Teddy B said, this is vocal speaking. I try to tell young and up and coming artists, if you want to last long, if you want longevity, if that is the goal, then pattern yourself after people who have already done it. You understand what I'm saying? So for us to, as Teddy B just said, to go from singing in the subway to opening for Grammy Award winning artists, it didn't come easy. It came with hard work. It came with studying the craft. It came with learning your audience. It came with some infighting amongst ourselves, getting to know ourselves and understanding the importance of working together as a group and everything. But there's a lot of hard work and dedication that goes into it. And we are constantly being compared to some of the greatest groups out there. One of the biggest compliments that we always receive is that when people hear us sing, they say, "Oh, I thought that was Boyz II Men out there singing."
Wow.
We used to, take it in jest back then, but to go from hearing it like that to actually opening up for them is a great accomplishment. And it's because we are learning from the greats. Wow. And that's what I would tell any young and upcoming artist: learn from the greats. If you want to last long, there are people out there that are already doing it.
That's
just
awesome.
pattern yourself after what you're doing.
Wonderful.
Right.
So I normally would insert my break in here, but this conversation is so good. But if you are just joining, we are just about to wrap up. And I'm Pat Robinson. You're listening to Conversations on the Block, and we're talking to True Soul. And before we wrap up, I want each of you to answer this question, because the song is named
A Woman Should Be Loved.
Woman Should Be
There we
Loved.
go.
So my question is, how should a woman be loved?
Well, for me, Teddy B, a woman should be loved. I just go by one key word that I stand by. It's the little things.
Okay.
Right. This is notes here. The song does speak to how women should be loved, but for me, it's respect, trust, it's sacrifice, commitment, evolving that woman. If you say you love her, don't just talk about it, be about it. Let the actions, put the actions to the words, really mean it. Be truthful with yourself, be truthful with her, and let things fall where they may. So
that's
what it means for me.
Okay.
I mean, they done touched all the bases. I guess if I can sum everything up into one line, it'll be, seeking her highest good.
Yeah.
Always being there, supporting her, listening, loving, and like Note said, action, not just words.
I appreciate that.
Right.
And so tell New York City.
Shout out to Lenore.
Right. Lenore. Did you say Lenore?
No, I'm sorry. I was giving a shout out to Lenore. He's the writer of
Venore. Okay. Venore, shout out to you, right. Venore. So let me ask you something. Where can New York City find you? What's coming up next? How can they connect in to see the show, download the music, follow you? Tell New York City how they can follow and connect with you.
Yes, New York City. This is a note there. Follow True Soul Music wherever you can. We are everywhere online, on Instagram and Twitter at TRU_SOL, Facebook at True Soul Music. You can find us on YouTube. Our music is streaming on every platform. So wherever you stream your music from, go find us, Spotify, Pandora, Tidal. It doesn't matter, Amazon Music, Apple Music, wherever it is, find us. Again, like you said in the beginning of the show, we are wrapping up our summer and fall tour. We will be performing in Newark, New Jersey on October 29th at Saturday, Lenny Green Family Day. Shout out to Lenny Green for having us there. Continue to follow us, follow us online. You can see where we're going to be at next and everything like that. So yeah, follow the harmony, follow the music. We appreciate it.
Wonderful. And I want to thank you guys for joining today on Conversations on the Block. The next time that there's a tour that's local that I can come to, I was supposed to go to the first one and I missed the opportunity, but I am going to bring up a bunch of my girlfriends and we're going to come out and we're going to sit down in the front row. We won't ask for any business proposals at the stage, but we will be looking for our roses. Okay. So I appreciate
it. That's right.
Yes. I appreciate you.
And listen, Miss Pat, shout out to you. We think a little bit of platform.
We definitely for
recognizing good music. Giving us a platform to bring love back, injecting love back into the conversation. So
absolutely.
Because of platforms like yours that we're able to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Conversations on the Block.
Thank you. I appreciate you. And New York City, stay tuned because you're about to hear the beautiful song by True Soul. So stay tuned and listen. And when you listen, just also make sure that you stay close to them. How a Woman Should Be Loved. Thank you again for joining us. New York City. That's a wrap. That was a good show. It was fun. But on a serious note, statistics do show that an average of 20 people are abused by partners every minute. That is more than 10 million victims a year. And so while we were talking about love, I also want to keep the conversation around abuse. Abuse is also higher amongst women than men, with 1 in 3 women experiencing physical abuse and 1 in 4 men experiencing physical abuse also. So knowing the signs of abuse is the best way to determine if your relationship is unhealthy and to combat domestic violence. It's important to remember that not everyone experiences domestic violence in the same way. Remember that love should never, ever come at the expense of yourself. So if you know someone who is a victim of domestic violence, help and can be reached at 1-800-799-7233. Again, that's the National Domestic Violence Hotline, which offers confidential help that can be reached at 1-800-799-7233. So before we leave, as I promised, I want to make sure that you will hear this beautiful, beautiful R&B song called A Woman Should Be Loved. And so next week, come back to the block because I'll be here. I appreciate you, and take this song in and follow True Soul. Be wise, be safe, be intentional, be kind, and I'll see you next week on the block.
Last time you stayed up on a call for hours. Baby, when was the last time, for no reason at all, you got flowers? When was the last time you could say you made love? Don't take too long to figure out. A woman should be loved. A woman should be loved. I know you need it, let me show you how. A woman should be loved. A woman should be loved. Saying it hurt, finding it hard. Trusting again, take your time to open your heart and let me in. But don't wait too long to figure out.
New York.
Tell me when was the last time you stayed up on a call for hours? Baby, when was the last time for no reason at all